basically just there for us to add a bit of spiciness, if anything we don't want any sweetness or any confected characters in the wines from the barrels. So carefully selected Burgundian coopers, French oak, tight grain oak from France, so for the Chardonnay and the Pinot Noir. And this is a sum total of what we do. We had a small Pinot Noir vintage this year, so we probably will fill it 3 high right through in a let's say normal year. I don't know what normal is at the moment. So and then we have started to experiment with Clay Amphora in 2021 to use that for the Chardonnay. So the rich Chardonnay coming from the coolest vineyard site on that Hemelade Ridge slope, south and southeastern slope. We pair that with the barrels into the Clay Amphora. And the Clay Amphora gives us the same. Oxidation, micro-oxidation that we get through a tight grain stave of the 228 litre barrels, without imparting any wood flavors. So and that's working quite well for us. We usually have about 10 to 15% component, Amphora component in the rich Chardonnay. And this is where the wines will stay for between 10 and 12 months. Chardonnay usually 10-11 months, and the Pinot Noir 12 months. We are now in a position also to not bottle the wines prior to the current vintage. So we can harvest and we can keep the wines neatly in a tank, take our time to really let them settle beautifully. We try not to filter the wine, so it helps us a lot when you can have a wine for 3 or 4 months in tank while awaiting the bottling process, which will usually happen in the fall or early winter. So this is the 2025 vintage. 2025, for us, really interesting. I think all winemakers are going to tell you the last vintage will be the best vintage, although it's not the bottle yet. But I think 25 for us really, as for the 23s that we'll taste, the 24s, very excited. Very small crop, as mentioned. The driest vintage in maybe a decade or two. We'll get all the statistics. I'm not 100%. I haven't worked it out 100%, but it looks like maybe in 2 decades the driest November, December, January we've had. And due to that, very small bunches, tight bunches, lots of concentration. And then it's the winemaking here, very basic, straightforward. We try not to intervene. I think for Storm, our philosophy is just basically wines with personality and character that expresses terroir. And that's the important part. And then wines that have longevity. I always say wines that are ready upon release, but they have the ability to mature for a long time and keep the freshness. I think that's an important part. But cooper-wise, we use French oak coopers, all long-term relationships for 25 years now. The Franche-Frère family, and then a few other coopers in between. That works very well with our wines, honoring the terroir. So that is, and production-wise, we produce 3 Pinot Noirs. We are the only producer in Hemelade that produces wine from single vineyards from each of the 3 worlds. So we have a Pinot Noir from the Hemelade Valley, Upper Hemelade, where we are now. We're in the epicenter of the Upper Hemelade, and then Hemelade Ridge, and then 2 Chardonnays, one in the Hemelade Valley, Hemelade Ridge, and those are both wines from Bockerveld Shale, heavy clay soil. So Bockerveld is Buckfield Shale. That's just the family name of the soil. And then we are working on a project to plant, if everything goes well next year, some Chardonnay on the granite soils of the Upper Hemelade where we are now. So I think you've also realized, did you come through the valley here, or which road did you take?
I came from Caledon.
Okay, so
did you come up the valley down the bottom?
Over the Lowry Pass?
We drove on that.
Did you
Will Road.
Karweiderskraal?
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. The GPS always shows Karweiderskraal. It's a dirt road, but it's quite a nice road, and you go over the dam wall.
Yeah, exactly.
So everything on the right, when the Karweiderskraal tees into the R320, everything on the right basically is the Hemelade Valley. You drop 100 meters lower, and you'll see the soils there are very red colored soils, high iron content. And Karweiderskraal the same, reddish colored soils. And here where we are at the moment, the upper Yamnade is characterized by more this white, grey colored soils, more quartzstone, more sandy components. So lighter structured, not as high iron, but underlying clay, which is really important to sustain texture in the wines. For Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, that works very well for us. Otherwise, one will have a lot of perfume, but lacking that depth and textural component. That for me is really very important. And then the Yamnade Ridge again, that Bockerveld shale, heavy clay soils, but 200 meters higher in elevation compared to the Yamnade Valley. Much cooler site. And we'll taste the three single vineyards of the Pinot Noirs as well as the Chardonnay. So we'll taste those 5 wines, and we can take it further there. So we'll taste in the office area at the moment, but you can just follow me.